name is Kathy, and today we'll be talking about the third air sign, Aquarius. Aquarians are filled with utopian dreams for themselves, their friends, and most importantly, society in general. These are the people that invented lifestyle alternatives that they attempt to live with idealism to blaze the way for the rest of us. But more likely, your Aquarian friends are filled with fabulous, visionary, creative, and original ideas because they have the capacity to see so far ahead that they tend to leave the present moment behind. The classic Aquarian is far more of a mental creature than an emotional one. They crave a sense of all the possibilities in the universe. This is the motivational force behind their humanitarian involvements. It is to help to create the utopian ideals that fit their minds. Aquarian ideals revolve around the concept of brotherly love and peace that is ultimately uncontaminated by cruelty and ruthless power plays. They value freedom of expression more than you could ever imagine, and to experience the feeling of pure, far-reaching connections with others in a utopian ideal. This often causes problems because the Aquarian tends not to handle life as it is, but rather as they most ideally would like it to be. Aquarians have trouble living in the complicated and competitive world. They are so idealistic that they want to exist in this world on their own terms, and oftentimes this can prove problematic. These people can be stubbornly uncompromising because of their fixed-signed mindsets that seeks to keep to their own idealistic paths, regardless of the consequences. The paradox of these people is that they appear to be intellectually open, but in actual fact are not. Just like the other fixed signs, Aquarius will remain stubbornly fixed in their ideas once they are committed in that direction, and will have an extremely difficult time changing course, just like the other fixed signs. This often results in a great deal of fanaticism and purposeful rebellion in them, especially when the people around them do not get the Aquarian's utopian ideas. Quite a lot of the time, you will find that Aquarians are not realistic about expressing the contents of their minds. As a result, their way of doing something may be somewhat off, or the timing is off, or the approach is off. It may be way ahead of its time, or the Aquarian may be too forceful and overpowering when a subtle and more delicate approach is called for. Aquarians' sense of ego revolves around their futuristic ideas. Because of this, they tend to have a tunnel vision that prevents them from seeing to the right or the left. If their ideals are off the mark because they can't see how they fit into the greater whole, then the Aquarian can create a great deal of chaos as they forcefully push their ideas onto friends and society in general. Aquarians have a difficult time living the mundane life that is part of everyone's life. In actual fact, they simply hate having to deal with mundane reality, as they would much rather spend their time lost in the clouds of their higher ideals. Aquarians are always asking rhetorical questions because they are never asking questions that truly demand an answer. It is always about, why are things this way when they could be that way? Aquarians don't listen, and as a rule are never content with reasonable answers anyway. The typical Aquarian is the terribly honest, moral person who would never do anything wrong to hurt another person, but despite all of this essential wonderfulness, is wronged in return. They are very big on the concept of them doing exactly what they want to do without compromise. These are stubborn people. Once again, the fixed modality creeps in. As an air sign, Aquarians tend to be emotionally detached by nature, as they get so caught up in the idea of doing good rather than simply feeling. Very often Aquarius is not aware of their feelings at all, or others' feelings, as all air signs have trouble processing the world of emotions. How this works is that Aquarians will suppress their feelings, and then the suppressed emotion will be triggered by later events that possibly have nothing to do with the intensity of the suppressed emotions that have been allowed to fester for varying lengths of time in the Aquarian, which often results in sudden explosive fits of anger that surprise the Aquarian as much as anyone else. Aquarius is often intellectually brilliant, but this is not the only thing that life is about. Many eccentrics are brilliant, and so are a large number of the people that are certifiably insane. Aquarius walks a thin line between genius and insanity, and it can sometimes make you wonder which side of that line your Aquarian friends reside on. The number one problem for Aquarius lies in their failure to recognize the fallibility of ideas for ideas' sake alone. These people easily get lost in their own thinking patterns and so have issues trying to translate these lofty ideas into appropriate actions. In other words, they can be all talk and no action. Aquarians have issues with emotions and so can be blind to the feelings of their fellow human beings, especially when those feelings are problematic. They are more concerned with utopian ideals than in individual persons. Aquarians are a fixed sign, and so when they get a utopian idea in their minds, they will keep plodding along with this regardless of what experience, misfortune, disaster, or old age teaches them. Basically, Aquarius simply does not understand why the world does not work according to their ideals. It is difficult for Aquarius to love on a personal level because the very essence of their nature is impersonal. As a result of this, they try to impose a feeling of distance in their close relationships. How this can manifest is through long-distance relationships or relationships where the two people do not live in the same dwelling, but they see each other all the time, and other variations of the separation themes. Many Aquarians do not want to take responsibility for themselves, and so they try to find a mommy or daddy figure to help them so that they can remain in denial and avoidance of their problems. Aquarians tend to repress their emotions, especially negative emotions, such as anger or jealousy. To the lofty Aquarian mind, these types of emotions are loathsome and totally unacceptable. And so when the Aquarian experiences them, they immediately repress them. Days, months, even years later, these negative emotions can come out as sudden explosive bursts of anger. And this horrifies the Aquarian because all they want is to be cool. The mere thought of them being transformed into a screaming monster is horrible to them. But this is the result of repressed negative emotions. If it doesn't come out in an explosive burst of anger, the repressed emotions can result in physical illness. On the positive side, Aquarius is quite often quite brilliant, with an idealistic and futuristic brain. Aquarius is the sign of genius, eccentrics, inventors, and often lunatics. Aquarians are humanitarians that have a strong sense of social justice. They are concerned with transpersonal, large-scale causes. These people are forever curious and on a quest for truth and beauty in its most abstract form. Aquarius is alive with wonderful theoretical and philosophical ideas that have far-reaching implications for society as a whole. Aquarian loves the ideals of liberty for all, and so is highly aware of the plight of the underprivileged in society. Their focus is in overcoming the time-worn traditions of the past and to revolutionize society. The Aquarian mind is a wonderful example of utopian visions spontaneously taking shape. At their best, Aquarians are honest and noble and highly loyal to their values. They very often possess wonderful ideas that are far ahead of their time. They can be the friend that helps those in need and are kind and generous to their very cores. They can be selfless givers of aid that care nothing about accepting praise or rewards for their humanitarian works. Aquarius dreams of utopian social perfection for all, where all the social ills, injustices, and irrational wrongs that are perpetuated by mainstream society are righted. Aquarians are the firebrands of positive social change. They long to free the world and establish the peace and fellowship for all of humanity. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.